Well, welcome everyone. I'm going to get in full gear right now. We are just so glad you are here today to talk about CBD and why we are all dressed like we're talking about THC. Let's start talking about CBD. Mhm. There. Now, and I really don't need this one either. So, now we're going to talk about CBD. I like yours, Vicki. You can keep yours on. It's perfect. Oh, and a happy National Hemp Month. July is the month that we celebrate the resurgence of this wonderful plant called hemp. Love it, Vita. So perfect. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Julie Eskridge, and I have been loving all things essential oils for about 5 years now. And Vicki and I, Vicki wave to everybody. Yay! We are so excited you are here to learn more about CBD and essential oils, of course. Now, neither one of us claim to be experts, but we want to share our wellness journey with you and the things that we have discovered about CBD personally and through our research. But we also want to encourage you to do your own research to find out what is best for you and your family, especially in these days of 2020. And I'm actually wearing the nose ring, the aroma nose ring from the convention. And I believe Andrea is wearing one also. I have Aroma Ease on. What do you have? I think she has
lavender on.
You have the lavender nose ring. So so needless to say, wearing a nose ring with a mask, like we all are wearing face masks these days, it's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. But tonight is to empower you with your knowledge of CBD and also to encourage you again to find out what is best for you. And we want to talk a little bit tonight about the CBD, where it comes from, why it's useful, why you want to have very, very good top of the line quality, and ways to use it. And I want to reiterate, we are not doctors or scientists, so we cannot diagnose, treat, or any of that with any issues. Now, in the comments, will you let us know, sorry, letting everybody in the comments below, go ahead and type in if you have ever heard of the hemp plant, the HEMP plant. Okay. Right now I'm looking for my stuff. Okay. Excellent. Yes, you have. Now, have you heard it in association with marijuana? Or did you hear about hemp plant in association with milk or ropes or construction or paper or biosynthetics or biofuel or insulation or any of that? Have you ever heard of hemp associated with those products? Yeah. So that is why this plant is so versatile. It goes through so many different things. So I am going to start sharing my screen with you, and I'm hoping it's going to start. There it is. From the beginning. Can everybody see that now? Yay! Excellent. Okay. So, I'm so sorry, guys. I am trying to, it worked earlier. There it is. Okay. We already did the welcome, everyone. Now we're going to get into the nitty gritty. What is CBD or cannabidiol, which is the big name for it, which is very interesting. And CBD, by the way, guys, is not a fad. It is here to stay. It has actually become such a staple in so many communities in our world. And first of all, CBD is not marijuana. Just wanted you to get that out there, and we'll clear that up right now. Marijuana is produced when the hemp plant is grown without the male variety present, which is called a feminized plant, created by hybridization and crossbreeding. And the resin that's produced in these small hair-like appendages called trichomes, all the female plants is full of THC. So, and that produces, THC produces the psychoactive effects associated with marijuana. In other words, it gets you high and you want to eat everything in your refrigerator. That is THC and marijuana. CBD, or cannabidiol, is a natural substance from another variety of hemp. It is produced when the hemp plant is grown with both the male and the female plant present. And the resin that's produced is full of CBD, or cannabidiol, which does not contain the same heavy psychoactive effects as THC. But CBD does have a tiny bit of THC in it, which is 0.3%, like below 1%. There's no way you're going to get high with CBD. And you can also keep your diet going with CBD. And let's see. I'm sorry, I don't see anybody else. Okay, so we're going to keep going. Sorry, maybe we're not going to keep going. There it is. So sorry, you guys. Technology and me, we're just good friends. The history of CBD. Let's see. Is CBD illegal? Does anybody know if CBD? Go ahead and type it down below if you think that CBD is illegal. Exactly. That's right. The history of CBD is it's a natural substance from the male and female plant, like we talked about. It originated in Asia and Middle East thousands of years ago and has since been spread worldwide up to the United States back in the 16th century. That was a long time ago. In fact, farmers used to be fined if they did not have a percentage of their production of their crops that was not hemp. So they got fined. And President Washington and Jefferson both grew hemp on their property, on their plantations, because it was incredibly useful for paper, food, fiber, construction, and so forth. But in the 1920s, a negative media war was waged on hemp or marijuana due to a financial and corrupt reasons. Mostly because it directly competed with cotton, synthetic plastics, liquor, and the timber industries, as well as the tobacco industry. And it was eventually deemed as a Schedule I controlled substance. This category is saved for substances that have no benefit and have a high potential for abuse. I did say liquor and tobacco industries in there, didn't I? Okay. However, in July 2018, CBD was deemed from or downgraded from a substance 1 control substance to a substance 5, meaning it had some benefits and potential low abuse. And in July of 2018, CBD was downgraded again from a Schedule 1 to a Schedule 5. I mean, below that. And that had, the FDA changed the category so that a drug called Epidiolex could be sold. So, yeah, you want to get a drug on the market? Just change the laws. It's good. Finally, in December of 2018, CBD went from, went from a Schedule 5 all the way down to an unscheduled substance completely by the Hemp Farming Act, which removed hemp defined as cannabis with less than 0.3% THC as a controlled, uncontrolled substance. So, guess what? CBD became legal in 50 states. We all knew that, though, didn't we? And in the comments below, tell us what state you are representing today. Yes, true. Georgia, Virginia, and Indiana. Awesome. And Virginia, California, the crazy state. Woohoo! Tennessee, Illinois. Wow. We have tons and tons of states being represented here. That is awesome. Now, even though CBD is legal in all 50 states, you need to check with your state's regulations, because there are different regulations in each state. Some are stricter, some are unstricter. However, if you are in the military, you probably are still banned from using CBD. Just putting it out there. Make sure if you just check with anything before you start doing any of that. Okay. Now, in order to understand CBD or cannabinoids, how they work in our body, we have to understand the endocannabinoid system. Okay, I'm going to shorten that to ECS for short for the rest of the thing. When I say that, you know what I'm talking about. And our ECS is actually connected to our central nervous system and to our peripheral nervous system. Okay, everybody knows the central nervous system controls most functions of the body and the mind, and it consists of two parts, the brain and the spinal cord. And the peripheral nervous system, its primary role is to connect the central nervous system to the organs, limbs, and skin. So we all got that, right? And then, I am so sorry, my thing is not working. There we are. Okay, one more geeky slide, I promise. Just one more geek out slide. When your brain wants to send a message to the body, it releases a chemical, I'm going to have to read that, it's called a neurotransmitter. Okay, this neurotransmitter is released from a neuron, which is that presynaptic neuron up to the top left there. And once this message is released, it must reach across a gap which is called the synapse cleft, which is right in between, that little empty space in between there. And it has to go to the next neuron, which is your postsynaptic. Now, when the message is received, it excites that neuron, which then allows the message to continue moving from neuron to neuron until it reaches its final destination. Okay, very simplified explanation here. When you are gardening and your hand touches a thorn and your finger gets poked by a thorn, a message is sent to your brain, and in turn, the brain sends a message back to your muscles that tells you to move your finger away because that hurts. So imagine how fast these messages are working in your body. When you hit that thorn, you immediately come back, don't you? That's how fast everything is traveling in our body. So when a message does not get to its final destination the way it is intended to, lots of unbalance happens in the body. It is like the old-fashioned game of telephone when you whisper something to the person next to you and they go and whisper, 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 whisper. By the time it gets back, normally it's nothing at all like the original message. And sometimes that's what our body does. It sends, by the time it hits that final destination, it doesn't have the right message. So it's very important for our neurons to communicate effectively. So I told you it was going to be a geeky slide, and it was. So, all right, I'm just going to click, and hopefully between clicking and tapping, it's going to move. Yay! Okay, what does the ECS do? Thanks to technology and CBD, our ECS was just only discovered in 1992. Is that crazy? Yeah. I was like, what? And it helps, what it does is it helps our body maintain a homeostasis state, which is balance and stability. And it also helps regulate the nervous, the endocrine, and the immunity systems. Remember, we talked all about the endocrine a couple of weeks ago, about the thyroid and pituitary and the adrenal glands. The ECS has all of this, works on getting that all balanced. And it also helps with digestion, pain modulation, which we learned from our finger, reproduction, stress, appetite control, mood, temperature, and even memory. So if the body gets out of homeostasis, the ECS sends out natural endocannabinoids and enzymes to regulate the body. So for example, when you get hot, your ECS kicks into gear and you start to sweat to bring your body temperature down. When you get too cold, your ECS tells your body to shiver. When you get hungry, your stomach growls. And when you get tired, you yawn. This is all helped by our ECS. So I want you to take a second of think about your body's homeostasis. Do you feel that your body tells you what it needs and automatically adjusts accordingly without you telling it what to do? I'm with you, Christy. Yes, oils do help tremendously. Yeah. And so now I'm really hoping this is, yeah, it works. I'm going to turn it over to Vicki.
Thank you. Thanks, Julie. Can you guys hear me okay? Okay. Thanks, Julie. You have the heavy lifting with that sciencey part.
And it doesn't even touch all this stuff.
Right. Right. So, that's cute, the little Forrest Gump thing you put in there. So the reason that I am wearing, I did not take off my crown is because this is where I'm starting, right, is to talk about THC versus CBD, and a little bit about me briefly, because it's very, correlates for this, is that I'm a breast cancer, so I'm Vicki, I'm a breast cancer survivor. And during my chemotherapy treatment, I used medicinal marijuana. And so I reaped the benefits of the CBD, but also the THC big time. So I'm going to talk about that, and I'm going to talk about the difference, and then you'll understand kind of why the THC helped cancer patients. So, and I will just say that I also learned about the cannabinoid system when I was going through treatment, because I just started seeing documentaries, and it just came to light, and it was this massive, like, you know, like you were saying, Julie, like head explosion, that God created our bodies with a nervous system and a cardiovascular system and an endocannabinoid system. Like blew my mind out of the water, and probably many of us may not have heard of that. So if you have heard of this before, if you knew that our bodies were created to utilize this plant for medicinal purposes, let us know in the comments. I'd love to see who knew that this system existed, was created in our bodies to use the plant, because that to me is the reason to even investigate this. Yeah. So Christy didn't know until recently. Yeah. Yeah, same, Andrea. Yeah. So let's talk about the difference. And also just, I think it is pretty cool to understand that just like the oils work with our body's systems, so does CBD. I mean, we were made together. We were, if you believe, as I do, that we were put in a garden, we had everything we needed there. I'm sure there were some hemp plants in there ready and willing to be used, and were used. So, so the difference between THC and CBD, we obviously know, and you can see it on this slide, right? We think that THC means like people are, you know, intoxicated on, you know, on the psycho effects. But hopefully me sharing my story that I use it as a cancer patient gives you also a different perspective, that it isn't just slackers and people pigging out. And I'll talk about that in a second. But the difference is that it's how THC versus CBD binds to the receptors. So there's receptors, like we have, you know, estrogen receptors in our body, for example, right, to help our bones stay strong and other things. And so we have cannabinoid receptors too. And so we have what Julie described. The CB1 receptor is about the nervous system, central nervous system, your brain and your spine. And CB2 receptor is your peripheral nervous system, your limbs, all over your body, your digestive system, and your immune system. So THC acts on both of those receptors in a way that, think about it, it attaches to the first receptor, intoxicating effects, your brain. So that's why THC makes you feel all certain way. And then it also attaches to CB2, which is why when people ingest or other ways THC, it helps them feel calmer and decreases pain, because it takes care of their limbs, like it acts on the receptors in their limbs. And why cancer patients like me benefit from using THC is because during chemotherapy, obviously we all know nausea is a huge issue. And so it helps with the digestive system. It helps to calm or get rid of the nausea, and then might help you eat if you're not eating as well. And then also, just for me, side note, I had an incredible rash on the palms of my hands and the soles of my feet that could not be done You couldn't scratch it enough or hard enough or on any surface enough. And then once I started taking the medicinal marijuana, it went away instantly. So, but I'm not here to tout THC. I'm here to talk about CBD. So let's keep going on. CBD indirectly impacts these cannabinoid receptors. It helps them. It basically helps. It helps them to bind to the cannabinoids. So, in other words, when you're using CBD, it helps bind to those receptors so that they take in the benefits of the CBD, and we're going to talk about that in a second. And CBD isolate, which is just the CBD, like Julie was mentioning, with just that small, tiny percentage of THC, is what Young Living and Nature's Ultra uses. So it's just the CBD. So can you go to the next slide? So terpenes. Has anyone heard of terpenes before? Let us know in the comments, yes or no. Okay, Cindy, yep. So if you look on the slide, you can see they're found in CBD and they're also found in essential oils. So what are terpenes? First of all, if you want to learn more about the terpenes in our oils, if you don't have the essential oil pocket reference or desk reference or app, I would encourage you to get it, and you can learn in the front. There's a whole bunch of sciencey, geeky stuff, but it is kind of cool to go through it and learn more. And so you can learn more about terpenes there. But they're basically the plant's aroma, or that part of the plant. And they have many positive effects, terpenes do, on the body, especially in terms of medicinal effects. So terpenes have been studied for their medicinal properties. And it's something that we can't, because of the FDA, we typically don't talk about the medicinal properties of oils when we are, especially when we're talking to people who aren't members of Young Living, and we have to be careful even talking to people who are members, because again, we're not doctors, and we can't say it's going to cure an oil, or CBD is going to cure anything, or eradicate disease or get rid of a symptom. Okay, but you can look up many studies that prove there are medicinal effects. And so think about it. If you've got terpenes that are in CBD and they work with the cannabinoids, it's this awesome team working together. Okay. I don't want to get too much into the terpenes. So let's go on to the next one. So what's interesting is, I've heard someone call our landscape around CBD like the Wild West, because you go into the gas station and there's some CBD staring at you in the face saying, "Buy me, I taste like peppermint." Okay. So I'm sure we've heard of it. We've seen it. It's being sold everywhere. And there's kind of just pretty much a lot of chaos around it. And so I'm glad that you're here learning about it, because not only can you learn about it, but you can also educate other people when you're talking about it afterward. And so a couple things when we're talking about choosing, your CBD, quality, of course, is the first one. And as a member of Young Living, or if you're not a member and you're going to become one, you know that Young Living would give you the highest quality of any product that they're going to put out. Because of, our seed to seal promise, which I'll talk about in a little bit further in another slide. And that's one thing you want to know. You want to trust the company that's making the CBD. And so if you just buy one off the shelf or off Amazon, you don't know anything about that company or their purity. And then there are three, if you will, I want to say types, but kind of types of CBD. You want to know the difference between them, because that's the thing. It's almost like when you go to buy something you've never bought before, and it's, well, what does this mean? And why does this one different? And so you'll see this when you look at different CBD products. You're going to see some of them called full spectrum CBD, which sounds like, oh, that sounds right, because I used to use a full spectrum SPF, right? So you think like that makes sense, so I'll use that one. So let's learn what's a full spectrum. And so it's right there on the screen, but basically it has THC in it, the level of which you might not know what that is. And so then you're risking exposure to a little or a lot of THC. That's the full spectrum. It does have terpenes in it. So you're thinking, well, I thought that was good, and it is. But let's talk about the next one, and we'll come back to that. What's interesting is it's not on the slide, but this is really cool. Hemp, the product, the plant itself, actually cleans the soil and the groundwater and absorbs chemicals and toxins from the soil. And so that sounds like a good thing, except then if someone's making a product out of that hemp, that could contain toxins in it, that could contain the heavy metals. So you want to make sure that you're using a company that doesn't use the full spectrum. So full spectrum to me, automatically, as soon as I hear that, I'm thinking that's done. That's not even an option. Okay. Then there is the CBD isolate, or isolate, however you want to say that. And that is pure CBD. There's 0 THC, but there's no terpenes in it. So there's on the screen, it's talking about entourage effect. And I couldn't really describe that really well. I don't know, Julie, are you able to describe that? Otherwise, I sort of just said like, it's like a partner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. So the terpenes and the cannabinoids, it's like this partner.
Yeah.
To deliver, the most benefits. So between those two, you have, you're missing the terpenes in the CBD isolate. So now we have smart spectrum CBD, which is the CBD isolate. So that means that there's that 0.000, whatever the percentage is of THC in there, but adding in essential oils. So adding in the terpenes, so that you've got the benefits of both. And then as we said, they work together like an entourage effect. And so you're getting, it's just like if you take Young Living supplements. We've talked about that Young Living supplements have oils in them, plus the supplement like vitamin C, plus some essential oils. And together, they're going to work synergistically, and you're going to get more benefit from them in your body than just taking a vitamin C from some other company. So it's similar in that way. Before we go on to the next slide, questions? Anything that you're like, well, that doesn't make sense, or not really sure? Throw them in the chat. I'm just going to pause a moment. Okay. Okay. If anyone sees a question pop up, let me know. Okay. So let's go to the next slide, please.
That's the right one.
Are different types used for different things, or smart is always best? Well, I'm not sure if I can answer that directly other than just knowing the difference between the three. Because the full spectrum has THC in it, and you don't know how much. And so you don't know how much you're going to be exposed to. And one thing I didn't mention, so I was kind of saying how THC was so beneficial for me as a cancer patient, but THC, in varying degrees or levels, and I can't say what exactly because I don't know, can have some negative effects. It can cause some negative reactions in people. So I would, unless you're getting it through a doctor, I would highly suggest not doing anything that has THC in it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So let's move on and talk about, this is itching my head, but I'm going to keep it on because I'm committed. How to choose your CBD. So, oh wait, sorry, I missed that. No, sorry, CBD usage and safety. Okay, so CBD are the CBD products that Nature's Ultra, Young Living together, so that's Young Living's product, are putting out, are labeled for topical use. You might hear some people explain some testimonials later on in our presentation around ways that they use CBD. But for our purposes, I'm going to say that they're labeled for topical use. And you're encouraged to kind of clean the area of your skin, pat it dry, and then just take a few drops and rub it vigorously into your skin and reapply if you need to. Excellent places to apply them are like temples, the back of your neck, the soles of your feet, any joints. So again, because you're thinking, we talked about what CBD does, it acts on the nervous system, right? It's going to act on, limbs. And so this all makes sense. And CBD is broken down in the liver, just like lots of things are. So if you are taking over-the-counter medications or prescription medications, highly recommend that you talk to your doctor before you start using a CBD product, just to know if there are any issues there or anything that you need to know of. So definitely do that. And then so the products come in different strengths, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But like anything with Young Living, if you've experienced their products and their supplements, they are potent and powerful. And going low and slow to start is always recommended. Okay, so same thing with CBD. I would start with just half of the recommendation of whatever it says to use, and then make sure you don't have any sensitivities, and then move on. Okay, you can add more. Okay, next slide, please. Thank you, Julie. That's a really good point, what you just said about the answer about the full spectrum. Yep. Okay, so why buy Nature's Ultra CBD, which is really, now it's Young Living, right? It's Young Living's product. It's organic, it's certified organic, non-GMO, gluten-free, vegan, approved. Plus, you have the seed to seal guarantee. So Nature's Ultra is a company that Young Living acquired, and Young Living oversees all the, that they adhere to the same standards that Young Living does for their farms with their oils and their plants. So that means you're getting seed to seal promise, there's no pesticides, and as we talked about, this is their products, the hemp is free of heavy metals, and there's rigorous testing done to make sure of that. So that's important. Because anything that is concentrated, like our oils, like CBD, you don't want anything in it, because then that's going to be concentrated, whether it's a pesticide or a heavy metal. So it's really important there. Okay, next slide. So this is one product that I have, and so we're going to talk now about the different products that you can purchase. And so I've got the Calm Roller here. It does come in 2 different strengths. So, before I even talk about it, just for a moment, you always want to think, well, what do I want to use this for? Right? I mean, you're going to hear us talk about different products. And so it's sort of like, well, I don't have any issues, so I'm just going to try one. I mean, of course you can do that. And this might be a good one to start with. I mean, I think all of us could use calm, relaxation. So for me, it's got the oils that are on the screen. So there's some really awesome, yummy smelling oils in here. I have the 300 level. Is that the right word? Strength. That's right, strength. And I just roll it. I pretty much almost every night before I go to bed, this is near my bed, I roll it on my wrists. I actually like to roll it on my chest just so I smell it. Now you can't really see that, but excuse me, I just roll it here, and then I rub it in. And I like to put it on the back of my neck. And I pretty much put any oil that I want to work quickly on the back of my neck, because it gets right into the central nervous system right there on your spine. So, and I love the smell of this. My daughter says she's 10, but she said it smells smoky. I don't think it smells smoky at all. But it's different than an oil. Like, it definitely smells a little different. So anyway, this is Calm, and I've used this many nights when I could not sleep and turn my brain off. So in addition to my oils, I add this in. Oh, you used it during fireworks oh, love it, Hope. That's awesome. Helped your pups too. Okay, Julie.
Okay, that's awesome. Thank you so much, Vicki. You had some heavy hitters there too. That's fun learning about this stuff. Nature's Ultra also has a CBD joint and muscle balm. Many of you know my story, or our story, my husband and I's story, when we started using essential oils. my husband had a brain attack, which he had migraines, but it all stems from the back of his neck. And I can tell you the story later. But he has really enjoyed using the joint muscle and balm right on the back of his neck back here. It has soothed many nights. Let's put it that way. Does anybody else have a testimony on the CBD, Andrea?
So I'm going to be very honest. I have been slow to jump on the CBD train. Okay. So I've been kind of learning and seeing where this is at and all that kind of thing. So finally, I got to the point where both my husband and I were needing some additional joint and muscle support. And I jumped in and I got the 600 milligram. So I jumped right into full strength right away. And we have been using it in a number of different ways. My husband loves it on his shoulder. I smacked my knee right on the very sharp corner of a coffee table recently, and I instantly put this on, and it was really soothing. I will say that crazily enough, about a week later, all of a sudden, I started getting a lot of swelling above my knee, and I kind of looked like I had an elephant knee. However, I put on the muscle rub, and it really helped to soothe that entire area and support the body's natural response to inflammation. Was really happy with that. And I went for a hike Sunday afternoon in 90+ degree weather, and I came home and had some tremendous head tension and ended up using the muscle rub on my head and neck particularly. And again, it was very soothing and helped to alleviate that discomfort that I just happened to have. And lastly, I will be honest again and say that this says, do not use this on your face. So prefacing that with that, my personal decision, not recommendation, was I did choose, I had been dealing with some chronic sinus issues, and I did choose to put it on my sinus, just on the one side, and it was so comforting. So I really liked that. It did not bother my eyes in any way, but that would be a caution that I would say that if you choose to try it in a similar manner, that you need to maybe keep your eyes closed for a moment, if just to avoid any kind of irritation. But I was really careful how I used it. And yes, I agree, Christy, tiny bit. So we have been using this for almost 2 months, and there's that much still in there, y'all. So a little bit goes a long way. And like I said, both my husband and I have been using it. And if you have been wondering how to help the males in your life jump on the oily train, this is a great way to introduce them.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Julie?
Yes.
Yeah, I have something about the muscle rub too. So my dad has a bum knee, and he's been to the doctor. He's tried everything. And I'm going to use my elbow as an example, but if we were just, whenever I would visit, we would just chilling out, watching TV, I would notice my dad was just ghost rubbing his knee. He didn't even know he was doing it, but he was rubbing it because it was irritating him. So when the CBD came out, I bought him one, and I'm like, use it. I know you won't buy it because no, it's not cheap, but use it. And I gave it to him for his birthday, which was last August. Okay, so it's been almost a year now. He uses a tiny amount on his knee. He is not having any issues anymore. He's walking fine. He's not ghost rubbing it. Nothing. The miracle part about it, he is still on his original jar.
Wow.
That's how little it can take. Again, you know, each person's going to be different, like you were saying, but it just takes a tiny amount that he rubs all over his knee, and he's still in his original jar. So that jar could last you up to a year. Now me, I have the muscle rub too. Mine has not lasted that long. But that's because I use it a lot. I use it for, I'm very clumsy. So anyway, that's my little 2 cents about the muscle rub for you.
Yeah. And if anybody gets a massage or goes to a chiropractor, add that to your spine before you go. Trip went to the chiropractor, get adjusted, and the chiropractor said, "This is the best I've ever adjusted you." So just know that helped.
I can add one other thing. My husband and I were in a major car accident in December, and our car was total. The person who hit us, their car was total. We were T-boned, and where I was sitting, we were both in a lot of pain for a lot of months after that. But we used the CBD to relieve, our aches and pains, and we still have some of that. I mean, we still have maybe a third of the bottle left. And we used it before going to the chiropractor or getting the massages, and it just relieved so much. It helped so much just using that. Pretty much we used it several times a day for a few months. It was good.
That's awesome. Thank you, Rita, for mentioning that. That's good to know. I'm sorry about your car accident.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Now they have Nature's Ultra, gosh, can't talk tonight. They also have CBD liquid or drops, and it comes in a little dropper. And cool mint, citrus, and whoops, did I miss something? No, cinnamon. Now these are suggested to be used topically. Now, Christy, do you have a testimony on these drops?
I do. I was saying a few moments ago, I'm very clumsy. But this time it's been hell week for me. Let's just be honest. I woke up on Sunday. I did not fall. I did not do anything, but I woke up and my back was just completely seized up. It hurt to take a deep breath. It felt like somebody was stabbing me. Now on Sunday, I was using the muscle rub. It was helping, but I was just so out of it basically from how I was feeling. That was all I tried. Well, on Monday, I felt a little bit better, and I felt like I had kind of maybe pinched a nerve or also pulled a muscle. I couldn't tell what was going on. So I was desperate. So I got on my little EO Bar app and I searched nerve support, and I found a recipe for a roller. And it includes lemongrass, geranium, there it is. It includes all that. So I don't have to say them all. And for my carrier oil, I chose to use the CBD peppermint oil because if you don't know the ingredient, there's a lot of carrier oils inside of here. And I have been rubbing it up and down my entire spine and concentrating under my right shoulder blade, which is where a lot of the discomfort is. It has made a huge difference. Now, this is the first roller ball I've ever made using the CBD drops, and I can now 100% say it won't be my last.
Awesome.
So I love them. I didn't tell you this ahead of time, but when this first came out, we had the pet CBD, which was had no essential oils in it. I was putting that in my face cream because it's very good for your skin. Well, now that I have the peppermint, because I just got this the other day, I decided to be brave because I'm not gonna lie, I tasted it because I wanted to know just how pepperminty it was. I hope I'm allowed to say that. I just took a little bit on my finger and tasted it, and I'm like, oh, well, that's not strong. It didn't smell strong. I put some in my face cream, and it felt amazing. It reminded me a lot like the peppermint scrub that we have. But read the benefits for CBD. You'll understand why I'm putting it in my face cream, and I love it. So that's another little example that I just tried today, and it felt great.
Wow, that's a great tip, Christy. I'm going to try that too.
I had been putting it in my wolfberry eye cream because it can help with your body's natural puffiness.
Wow. That's so good to know too. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if you want to try anything, just tell Christine. She'll try it. She's
I'm
good.
like Mikey with the cereal.
Yeah.
I'll try it. It's not
Yeah, give it to Christy. She'll try anything. Yeah.
I'll try it.
Oh, that is so awesome. And I am looking forward to making this nerve roller for my neighbor. Also, she is needing some nerve support. So that is great. Thank you so much for mentioning that. And when I had mentioned on the, I had put on the last slide to buy the bigger or stronger rather CBD oil and just cut your dosage in half because the price is not double. You get a better value when you buy the stronger one. Just cut the dosage in half and then it'll really last you long. So, and again, first time usage, just like essential oils, go slow, very, very slow. Okay. Now, how to buy CBD. If you are already a Young Living member, go have at it and buy it and put it in your shop cart. If you're on ER, yes, we can put it on our ER accounts. Woohoo! Get all those points back. You can buy the regular strength for $165, and that includes the Calm, the Muscle Rub, and the Citrus, and Getting Started with CBD brochure, as well as Young Living membership. Now, this is for new members only, as well as the extra strength CBD. So if you're already a Young Living member, just go ahead and add it to your, not the kit, but just add the individual ones that you want. But remember to follow all label instructions. Very, very, very important to do that. And Essential Rewards, we have not talked about Essential Rewards in a long time, and I feel like we have done you guys a disservice by not telling you exactly how this works for us. So I want to show you something. This is 2 orders that I put in yesterday. The top one was for my new son-in-law, who is a rock climber, a trail runner, a mountain biker. Yeah, he's got some hip discomfort, especially when he falls off and slams into a tree. Hip first. So he texted me yesterday and said, hey, I'm completely out of this blend. Can you please send it again? I'm thinking, yes, it works. So what do? I just went to, had ER points. Don't look at that, Andrea. Yes, I have 275 in that one. Still left. But I went ahead and ordered his Cool Azul, his Marjoram, and his Ortho Sport Massage so he can make the blend himself. That was $156 worth of product. I paid $7.50 once I redeemed my points. Down here is for my son, who was complaining about his cul-de-sacs. Yeah, right here. You don't know what that means, I'll help you later. Yeah. And so I said, oh, I'll send you the oils. So again, used my ER points, sent him. I also sent him the bar soap because I want him to get rid of his other soap that he's been using. And that peppermint cedarwood is so good, so amazing, and it lasts forever. But I sent him the cedarwood, the lavender, the peppermint, the rosemary, the thyme, and the V6 vegetable complex. So again, he can just make those blends, roll it, massage it, and go with it. So yesterday I ordered $261 worth of product and paid $15.50. Best part is my family is not using toxic chemicals on any of this. However, how did I get all those points? Yeah, I buy the skincare, I buy the supplements, I buy the cleaners, I buy my oils, I buy you name it on here instead of buying them at Target. So that's why I get all these points. Again, I just wanted to throw that out there because we haven't talked about it for a while. And your whole family can love on it. I don't know if you can see this chat box that keeps popping up in my thing. Okay, good. So some really quick frequently asked questions. Do you receive 24% off the CBD products? In other words, do you get CBD at wholesale prices? Yes. Do I receive the same referral bonus opportunities when helping a friend become a Young Living member by ordering a CBD PSK? Yes. So in other words, if your friend says, I want to be trying that CBD, say, hey, got it. I'll help you. And you'll get a referral bonus for it. And will I receive commissions from those who purchase CBD within my organization? Yes, but make sure you have a qualifying order with that. We'll help you with that also if you have questions on that. So just know, yes, 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 yes on CBD. No, Nature's Ultra. Amazing. These are all of our references. By the way, I will be we'll be sending you the whole PowerPoint in a PDF. So you know you can look back on all of this, and I want to highly recommend getting this book. It is amazing. It is simple to read. Cody Lynn is a Royal Crown at Young Living. She started using this on her child, and she just has amazing testimonies on it. So highly, highly recommend this book. And it's so easy to read, which is what I like. Super, super thank you for joining us tonight. We are so glad you're here with us every week. We love seeing your happy faces. I am going to stop sharing and stop recording somehow. I just love this stuff.